Hi guys, my name is Michael and welcome to this Adobe Lightroom tutorial. Now, I tend to use Lightroom mostly on my phone so I can edit on the go and it's easy to quickly import photos as and when you wish. But I'm going to go through a basic edit. It's my first time making one of these videos, so I hope you like it. Alright, let's get started then, shall we? So here on the screen we have a photo of me flying. Before we get to this stage, we just simply import whichever photo you wish by clicking onto File, Import Photo and Video, and then select whichever one you want. Now, why have I chosen to display two photos? Well, because I want you to be able to see the effects of each setting when we make our edits. So on the left you have the before shot and on the right the after shot of how it appears when we edit. Okay, you can do this just by clicking the YY symbol at the bottom here. Actually, if you just hover over the symbol, it says circles between before and after views. Okay, on the right hand side of the screen we have all of our tools. If this screen hasn't popped up, okay, we just go on to Window at the top and then on to Develop. Alright, at the very top we have a histogram, so we can visually see all of the settings. If you hover over it, you can see that on the left we have blacks, then shadows, then exposure, then highlights and whites. Okay. Also, what we can do is if we point our mouse over the photo itself, it tells you all the different color percentages that we have. For example, here we have 89% of reds, 90.3 greens and about 92% blues. Okay, and so on. Now we're going to skip the tools that we have and go straight to the basic section. Okay, we're going to remain in color obviously, but if you click black and white, the photo changes to black and white. Makes sense, right? Okay, so let's just go back to color and we'll continue. So the first thing we have is temperature and tint. Depending on what sort of style we're going for, we can cool the image down and highlight some of the blue colors. Okay, obviously that's a little bit too much, so we just press Ctrl Z and undo that. Okay, and we can also warm it up by pointing it to the right to give it a little bit more orange colors. Okay, that looks good also, but we'll just undo for now. Okay, in actual fact we're going to keep the temperature and tint 0 and we will move on. Okay, let me just show you what happens if we press auto. Okay, what Lightroom does is changes the parameters to what it thinks brings out the best of the image. Okay, so we can see that the histogram has changed a little. If I undo and then press it again, the histogram moves slightly to the right. Okay, so back to normal. Okay, exposure we're going to bring down to about -0.43. We can do that by moving the sliders or just typing on the side here. Okay, if you want accurate numbers, I prefer to type personally. Okay, exposure -0.43. We're going to bring the contrast down to about -28. Okay, highlights will drop to -20 for now. Let's see what that's going to come out like. Shadows we're going to bring up to +90. Whites down to -78 and blacks up to +29. Okay, because what we have right now is the picture is overexposed. The whites and highlights are quite high, so we can see from the photo before. The sky is quite bright. The reflection of the sun in the cockpit and on my arm here, the glare from the window, much of the photo has actually lost some color. Okay, so we bring these down and bring the shadows and the kind of darker grades to compensate. We bring them up. Back in the presence, okay, we're going to keep the clarity the same on 0 I think, and just bring the vibrance up slightly to about +7. Saturation, yeah, just a little bit, I think +4 as well. Okay, then next we have the tone curve. Okay, we're just going to play with this line a little bit. What we're trying to do is make a slight curve at the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to have a quick play around here and I'll explain sort of what I've done when I finish, okay? Okay, so what I've done is I have just really made on the red, green and blues, I've just made a slight curve at the bottom, and then separately on reds, greens and blues I've made a sort of an S kind of shape. Okay, as you can see here on blue, green and the reds. Okay, because what we're doing, we're making the shadows, blacks and all the darkest colours stand out more. We just want to bring these down so it's not too overpowering, you know. And of course any changes we make to these lines, if we go back here, we change the numbers here at the bottom. Okay, so I think for the tone curve we are good for now. Okay, and now we're going to go to the HSL colour and so on. Alright, we are met with a number of colours. We have red, orange, yellow, green, aqua, blue, because aqua and blue are not the same, and purple and magenta. Okay, so going to red, okay. For the colours we have the options to change the hue, saturation and luminance of each of them. So we're going to go one by one and make a few tweaks, okay. We're going to start off with increasing the hue for the red to about +8, saturation down a little bit to -37, and the luminance down to -14, okay. Moving on to orange, okay, we have it here already, we don't necessarily need to select the top, okay, we just scroll down, hue down to -11, saturation -42, and luminance -36, okay. Yellow, hue -27, saturation -52, -22 for the luminance, okay. Already we have a little bit more color here, but I think this photo has quite a lot of blues, aquas and purples in the image, so we obviously need to adjust them, okay. What we're doing with the yellows and the oranges, basically we're giving the image a little bit more color, a bit more variety, accentuate the skin tones, making the tan on the arms a little bit more visible, but yeah, okay. So moving on to green, we're going to bring out the grass landscape here. You see the difference, a little bit more brighter here than beforehand, okay. So with the hue we're going to bring down to -38, okay, saturation -48, and the luminance I think we're going to bring up a little bit, +10. Now aquas, hue +3 slightly, the saturation to -41, and the luminance to -48. Moving on to blue, the hue to -17, saturation and luminance we're going to put both to -51, I think, okay. Yeah, with that last one, let me just undo. You can see that the difference that it has made just there, okay. Luminance -51, and now we have much more reflection. You see the sky and the clouds are not as bright and overly exposed as beforehand, okay. So just two left. Purple, we're going to keep the hue on 0, I think. Saturation we move to -40, okay, and luminance, yeah, down again to -45, okay. And finally magenta, hue up to +62, saturation -57, and the luminance -58. Okay, so if we want to separate some parts of the photo, we can go on to split toning here. Okay, I mean, I don't really see any obvious ones going on, but I think I'll just make a few changes, I think. So, highlights, let's go to a more warmer color to more or less here. Let's go, yeah, I think 254. Okay, saturation, let's bring that up a little to 24. Balance we'll take down to -80. Okay, hue for the shadows I think we'll put to 34, just bring them up a little bit, as well as the saturation to 20. Okay, now it's a much more oranger picture. You see now the tan is more accentuated. Okay, so let's just remove that and then do it again. Okay, you see the difference right there. Okay, now the detail section. I think I just want to make a few tweaks here, so let me see. Sharpening, we'll leave on 0, radius 1, detail 25, masking 0, noise reduction 0 for luminance, 50 detail, contrast, that's fine. Color, that's what I was looking for. Okay, I think I want to bring the color up to 25, I think, and keep the detail and smoothness on 50. Okay, now obviously if you want to add effects like making the edges dark with the vignetting, you can do so. You have a load of options here in the effects. Okay, you have a load of options for corrections and stuff down here. Now I'm gonna leave that, but I just want to change the grain to 2, I think, and keep the size 25, roughness 50. Okay, now camera calibration is to fine tune the colors slightly. Okay, so shadows gonna put down to just -2 slightly. Now bring the reds up to 35 for the hue. Okay, now we can really see the skin tones start to stand out a little bit more, and that saturation will bring to 45 as well. Also, this color for the lanyard here has changed a little bit, so now it stands out a bit more. Green hue, let's put that up to 65. You see this area has just changed here. Let me undo that. Okay, just look here. Okay, if we put that up to 65 and it's changed color. Saturation up to 45. Okay, and then the blue we're going to bring down to -10, and yeah, the saturation will bring down to -10 as well for the blues. Okay, but yeah, I think we are done. Let me just go back up to the basic section and let me play with the highlights a little bit. Obviously that's too much. I think I'm gonna go -100 actually, because I quite like this sort of darker, moody look that it's giving on here. Okay, so yeah, I think we are pretty much there. In my opinion, it looks much more better. Obviously you can't use this edit for every single photo because it all depends on the sort of style you're going for, but for this one I think we're all good.